Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Kamala Harris endorsed Representative Jasmine Crockett in the Texas Democratic Senate primary in a recorded message to voters. The backing gives Crockett a major boost days before the first big primary of the 2026 cycle. Trump suggested the U.S. could pursue a friendly takeover of Cuba as tensions with Havana rise. He claimed Cuban officials are talking with Washington without offering details on any formal negotiations. President Trump ordered U.S. agencies to stop using Anthropic's AI, and the Pentagon plans to label the company a supply chain risk. The directive starts a 6-month phase-out and could bar Anthropic from future federal contracts. Trump said he is not considering a draft executive order circulated by allies that would expand federal control over elections under a national emergency claim. The proposal drew scrutiny after reports it was being shared with White House officials. The Trump administration is pushing to keep tariffs in place and move trade talks forward after courts undercut a key legal basis for earlier duties. Partners and businesses say the shifting legal strategy is complicating deals and pricing plans. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani kept his latest White House meeting with Trump quiet until after it happened. According to people familiar with the planning, the secrecy helped avoid political blowback as they discussed federal housing money. Federal prosecutors charged 30 more people over a January protest that disrupted a service at City's Church in St. Paul, bringing the total to 39 defendants. Officials say the case targets alleged civil rights violations inside a house of worship. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth put Scouting America on notice and said the Pentagon will reassess its relationship with the group over DEI-related policies. The military granted a 6-month reprieve while it reviews next steps. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Virginia Senate Democrats advanced a budget amendment that would raise lawmakers' salaries by about 278%, tying the boost to regional income measures. Republicans blasted it as unaffordable, and the pay plan still faces House and governor hurdles. Congress is preparing to vote on a war powers resolution that would bar U.S. strikes on Iran without explicit approval. Supporters say it reasserts constitutional authority as military pressure on Tehran intensifies. Lawmakers warn that federal disaster aid is running low as the DHS shutdown drags on and funding talks stall. Emergency managers say delays could slow reimbursements for storms, floods, and wildfire recovery. Trump's Surgeon General nominee Casey Means is still short of confirmed votes, with a few Republicans undecided after tough questions on vaccines. Party leaders are scrambling to lock down support before a floor vote. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Pentagon will cut ties with several elite universities, accusing them of promoting woke ideology. The policy would limit military education partnerships and could affect training programs next school year. Democrats demanded answers after the U.S. military used a high-energy laser to down a CBP drone near Fort Hancock, Texas, prompting FAA airspace closures. It was the second similar incident in 2 weeks. As the DHS shutdown continues, the White House urged Congress to pass a funding bill while Democrats demand limits on ICE enforcement. DHS workers, including TSA screeners, face financial strain as operations run under constraints. House Oversight Democrats say they have enough votes to force a committee subpoena vote for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Republicans could still delay or contest how far the probe goes. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Kamala Harris endorsed Representative Jasmine Crockett in Texas Democratic Senate primary in a recorded robocall. The backing boosts Crockett ahead of Tuesday's vote and sharpens the contrast with rival James Tallarico. Trump said he is not considering a draft executive order circulated by allies that would expand federal control over elections under a national emergency claim. The White House said the proposal is not under review. President Trump ordered federal agencies to phase out Anthropic's AI over 6 months after the Pentagon labeled the company a supply chain risk. The move could bar Anthropic from defense work and trigger a court fight. U.S. Catholic bishops urged the Supreme Court to block Trump's order aimed at ending birthright citizenship. They argued it violates the Constitution and would strip U.S.-born children of legal status. Trump traveled to Texas as the GOP Senate primary intensifies, saying he's pretty much decided on an endorsement but won't name anyone yet. He appeared alongside Senator John Cornyn and rivals Ken Paxton and Wesley Hunt. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Pentagon will cut education and training ties with several elite universities, calling them woke breeding grounds. The change could block active duty personnel from attending certain programs next year. As the DHS shutdown continues, TSA officers received only a fraction of their pay. raising worries about absences and resignations. The White House and Democrats remain split over immigration enforcement conditions for funding. Lawmakers warn disaster aid is tightening as the DHS shutdown drags on and major FEMA functions are constrained. Officials say reimbursements for long-term recovery could slow while the disaster relief fund nears critical levels. Federal prosecutors charged 30 more people over a protest that disrupted a service at City's Church in St. Paul, bringing the total to 39 defendants. The Justice Department says the case involves alleged civil rights violations. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani kept his White House meeting with Trump quiet until after it happened, aides said. The low-profile visit aimed to reduce political blowback as they discussed federal housing funding.